A world full of stories, the future's changing. Reach out your hand and grasp your own fate. These are my complete records of the Göttershexe. May they prove helpful to whomever may find them in the future. I've written down all my life in the hope that it can change the outcome that was set in stone. I do not know what this will entail for the world, or if it will ever achieve anything. But please, at least, listen to this long story of someone who has lost this game. The day I met a god. The day I met a witch. The day I was rescued from myself. When I was walking through the earth set ablaze before my very own eyes, to a reason yet not known to me, all I thought was, the beautiful end is nonetheless the end. Where did it start? Where do I need to go? Where is safety? Everything was burning, from the grass on the ground to my feet, to the highest leaves in the crowns of the trees. A natural reaction, a survival instinct, is to run, find safety, escape the flame. If I had been calm and collected, I would think about the absurd scenario. The forest, long dead, with nothing but dried out ground and dead trees, had now burning grass and leaves. It would not be strange for such a place to catch fire. Yet, how as the grass that had last been in this place decades ago started burning? How do trees that stand around, out of nothing but spite from a time when this was a forest, have burning leaves? If I had done so, if I had calmly and collected analyzed the facts at hand, if I had realized that the grass I was treading was not even tearing my shoes, and the flaming leaves that fell on top of me were dissipating the moment they touched my head without causing any harm, if I had realized that, I wouldn't have run this direction that led me to this place that I'm standing right now. This absurd and impossible scene that took place inside the sea of fire and flames. A god of fire bowing down to a girl with ebony hair creating a void in the red, and skin white as an empty canvas, with the light of the flames surrounding her drawing upon it, being no larger than the god's feet. But the girl was not small. The god was towering over the trees, its wings are spread over, and colors shifting from blue to red over white, in a hypnotic, rhythmic way, spreading the fire, and its gaze focused on the girl who was standing before it, reaching out her hand, touching this god of destruction that brings nothing but an end in fire, once finished leaving nothing but ashes. But also a god of rebirth, leaving fertile ashes where life had ceased to be, to once more sprout out of the remnants of the past. A phoenix had set this barren and dead landscape aflame. The dry ground that would not support even a single helm of grass had now dancing in the wind small flames, each tall and slim, like it was trying to mimic the grass once there. Trees were burning with flaming leaves, weaving with the flow of the wind, back and forth, and in the sky above, clouds were raising to the sky, waiting for the time when this landscape would need water once more. And amidst all of the spectacle was a girl and a god, talking, not with words, but simply through their eyes. "You there, hurry and get away there! Don't you know that is a phoenix? Its flames will not stop before you. Once they begin the cycle of rebirth, all will burn to ashes before new life can come." The girl was turning slowly towards me, with a look of confusion, but also a look that was showing that she was the one who asked this god, asked him to help her, asked him to lend her his magic. A magician, someone capable of changing the world, by asking for aid by the beings we live with. Beings who could call upon forces capable to change the flow of water, or others may be able to freeze that very same water to the ground instead. Or beings who can call upon flames to cleanse the world. But those beings with such immense power do not simply light a flame, but torch down an entire forest. No human would ever try to use them for magic. No one would be dumb enough to ask a god to abide man's will. But this girl that not only did so, but succeeded in such an impossible task. Once I saw her look, saw her eyes, and through them, saw her soul, I understood. The phoenix would not harm her. It would not harm me. Not the ants on the ground that had barely survived in this landscape of death, and not the bird and mice that had taken what little was left, to live their last days in agony of awaiting inevitable extinction. Looking through her eyes, I saw a way, as strong, no, stronger than the god's flames, making him bow and lend aid. And that person which the soul belonged to is now walking towards me. A pain is coursing through my body. I could feel as if my body was turning to fire. And I understood. I was being judged, being observed by this god, to protect this girl. It could easily kill with nothing but a sword, just like it does to me this very instant. Flames curse through me that would purge all evil, and only leave behind good. If just one thought would come to me of causing harm, would that be enough to burn away my soul, and leave nothing but a hollow husk behind? But what are you saying? Why would he harm me? All he wanted was to bring life to this place. How would that hurt me? And with my blood turning to flames, her voice was starting ripples of water inside my body, which turned to gigantic waves, cooling my artery, dimming the burning pain in my soul, and ultimately extinguishing the fire inside me. My head became lighter, and once she was standing before me, in arm's reach, I was again able to formulate a coherent thought, and so I spoke once more. Life cannot come from nothing. In exchange for one life, another has to die. A rule even? No, especially Phoenix cannot break. Nothing will change as long as there's nothing being taken. But he does not ask me of anything. All he wants to do is to help me. I know he is not lying. That is simply not possible. There has to be a price paid when dealing with a god, and for a forest nonetheless, the price needs to be immense. Don't worry, everything is okay, so please do not hurt someone who's here to help me. She was not speaking to me, obviously, but instead the phoenix, yet not turning towards it. Something I knew to be a fatal mistake. One cannot treat a god like this, unless being prepared for the ensuing retaliation. Fantastical and beautiful they may be, their temper is rough and uncontrollable, and their power beyond what humans could ever achieve with all the technology. The god is raising its wings. It is turning its entire body towards her, raising his head, spreading its feathers, a figure only described in fables, those which tell stories of places long gone, places that had once lived and then, one day, found ruin at the hand of an enraged god. Stories every magician, every king, every worker, and every beggar knows. A story to prevent these disasters from happening, even if humanity has countless times disregarded the wisdoms learned through so much bloodshed. Gods will be enraged, humans will die, and one of these humans will be me. This day, this second, in this forest that has started life once more, one life, one insignificant piece of the puzzle we call world, will be lost and replaced with another. The girl turns. The god stops, and fear that had turned to acceptance of death returned to my body. Silence, only broken by the crackling sound of fire. A moment turned to a while, and a while turned to eternity. A girl facing a god that could kill her with nothing but a sword, stern, immovable, and she makes the god turn away, no longer facing her, only showing hostility through the flames surrounding us, becoming painfully hot, but not killing us. Once more, a voice was rippling through my body, dimming the fire that now was on the outside instead. My name is Henry. Who are you? Aþpan, but I don't think this is the time for that. Now that you have done that, is this fire starting to be more fiery? And normally humans are not made fireproof. He is just envious that I pay him no attention anymore. He doesn't want to hurt us. Well, I've heard stories of people getting killed from a lot less than this. And I also don't like feeling like I'm burning alive, regardless of the outcome. She turned her head back at the phoenix, then back at me, and after that walked in the direction I came from. Thinking she would know the way out, with how determined she walked that path, I followed her. To our both dismay, we did not find the way out, but instead a cliff, growing upwards before us. Impassable and certainly not the way out. I thought this was the right way if you come from here. You think I just went into a burning forest for the fun of it? I was coming from that direction so as to escape this forest. We could just wait for the fire to stop. The entire reason you walked away was to escape the forest. Then what reason is there to wait it out? And even when the flames don't kill us directly, eventually this heat will make us dehydrated. That way then. You have no idea, do you? But if we walk in one direction, eventually we will find a way out. There was no arguing with someone like this. That I knew. So all I could do was follow her, in the hope that she was lucky enough to find out the way quicker than I would alone. After a bit of walking, she spoke once more. If we could just ask someone. But everyone is gone now that he is here. And I also can't see any wisps. She looked disappointed while speaking about something so fantastic and far-fetched I couldn't even begin to think about how it would help us. A wisp. A devilish creature that likes to lead people into the deepest parts of their home. It is said that they don't do this out of malice, but sheer playfulness. But still, people who get spirited away by wisps rarely find their way back without help. Just towards this girl, they enraptured a god and spoke with the confidence of a sage about such things. And her name, Henry, such a strange name, one I have not heard, or even similar ones I never encountered. Not too strange to sound not like a name, but still, it felt like there was meaning behind it. When I heard it, I felt the weight it held, despite not knowing what it meant. It took us a better half of an hour to escape the burning forest. It didn't burn us, but was so hot that once we escaped, standing in front of a forest burning in an entrancing dance of flames, the thirst that had built up was bringing me to my knees. I only wanted to get away as fast as I could, so I left so early that I would need to pass plenty of days before the academy started. For that I had brought some provisions. Of course I had money as well, to buy things on the way. But what good does your money in the middle of nowhere, when having such thirst? I should have just stayed on the path, not walking through a desolate place as some sort of sightseeing. The world is being engulfed in darkness, and from within the darkness was pouring over me, with a face that now, outside of the shimmer of the flames, was looking a bit more pale and less magical, the girl that I have left with, who, despite having been in that forest for as long as I had, still looked perfectly fine. You look thirsty. Just wait here and I bring you something. I only need some rest. How could I try to become a mage? If something as simple as a bit of heat would end me. What is a mage? Seeing her genuine, confused expression, I was trying to figure out if she really was not knowing what mages are, with what she just an hour ago had displayed. Was she really doing all of that out of simple instinct? But she speaks of spirits like she knows them so well. So how could she not know of the ones who contract them to use their powers? Something she clearly had done. out of nothing but instinct. And before being able to answer her, I blacked out. I guess my stubbornness can't fool anyone. All of this really had been too much for me. Maybe I should find solace that, in the end, I really did face a god today. Something most wouldn't even be able to do from afar in their entire life. I woke up next to a river, lying on what seemed to be a mattress of leaves and grass. It was only as a hush, but when I tried to look around, some animals were running away from Henry, who was sitting a few steps away from me. Once she saw me moving, did she jump up and with the same motion like a frog leaped towards me. "You're awake! They say you're almost dead, but now you're fine again. That's great, great!" I guess that would make this the second time a day that my life is now adapted to you. Just tell me anything and I will see it be done. It took her not even a second of hesitation to answer, which made me afraid what absurd dream she wanted to be fulfilled by me. I may be able to do a lot, but I did have my limits, so it didn't even register at first when she asked for something so outlandish, so ridiculous, so normal. "Then be my friend." Friend? That's all? You could have wished for me to bring down the moon for you, and yet all you want is something you could have asked any other day and become fulfilled? I don't want the stupid moon. That only makes everyone angry. Well then, how about this? You wanted to know what a mage is, so how about you join me to enroll in Fornhan.Ponsan? You seem to be well versed in magic, but don't know a single thing about it, so this would probably be quite the worthwhile experience. What is enroll? Does that mean we are friends? Naturally, and then you will be able to see me whenever you want. Then I want to enroll. I want to be friends with you. It was decided, and with that we walked off to where I was headed before this encounter stopped me. Fornhan.Ponsan Academy, a place where those go who can't just accept the world as it is. We live in a world full of fantastical creatures, a world where gods wander the earth and perform miracles and cause disasters. Only a true mage, someone who is a link between those beings and humanity, knows their nature and understands their whims. Many disasters have been averted by mages, showing how necessary their existence is. But at the same time, many wars have been fought with the help of mages, leaving some to question the validity of their existence. But I am sure that a mage is the only path for me to go. My father shunned this decision, calling it nothing more than a spontaneous gust of interest that will quickly still. He let me go there to show me what nonsense I was talking, but shouldn't he know best of all how much this will alter my future?